Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Tonight, our first guest is Drew Smith from Trinity Solutions. Welcome to the neighborhood, Drew.
Glad to be in the neighborhood.
Drew is partners with previous guest, Jim Sacchetti. We really know you're the brains behind the operation. Jim's the pretty face.
That's right.
You're the one that makes it all work in behind. So you guys do a whole bunch of stuff. Start off telling us a little bit about how you got into the business. Give a little pre-Trinity. Drew Smith knowledge.
I was born in a log cabin several years ago. No. I've always been in the debt sector in some way, shape, or form. 100 years ago, I got my teeth as a bill collector. I was the guy calling your house at 9 o'clock at night saying, pay for your fingerhut account or something like that. But no,
I'm sorry for what I said to you.
It's all right. It was the nicest curse out I ever received. But you move up through that stairs. 15 years later, you're running agencies. You gain a lot of knowledge. You gain a lot of connections as far as how debt works, agencies, so on and so forth. Well, I'll take that to the fact I get a little bit older. I don't want people chasing me around anymore.
We like to say we get better looking.
That's
how we go.
You're right. That's true. Well, I got a little better.
Fine like wine.
That's true. Finally aged. I'll put it like that. And I decided I wanted to actually make people happy rather than scaring the heck out of them. So we pivoted to where we were like, all right, well, we started out doing debt negotiation for a little bit. People were calling me. I have family that's realtors and so on and so forth. Hey, Uncle Drew, which is where this is going to go ultimately. Can you help me get this off of somebody's thing? Can you help me do this? Can you answer a question on that? And I said, you know what? This might be an area where we can wind up helping more people rather than chasing them after bad credit cards and what have you. So we took that and got a couple people together and started the company.
And you guys have been around officially for...
Trinity Solutions has been around since, funny story, Trinity Solutions, we were doing this previously for another company out in PA. So I've got years doing that. But Trinity itself, we were started during COVID.
Okay.
We got there, we said, all right, the company started, and it was January. And we're like, holy cow, everybody's out. What's going to happen now? And you know what?
More people need credit repair than ever now, right?
Credit it's unharmed when things are going great. Credit's a great industry. When things are going worse, it's an even better industry.
Right.
Because now people really need the help and the knowledge that you can give them to get out of these jams. So
it's been my experience that creditors are very quick to put something on your credit.
Oh, yeah.
Very slow to take it off.
Definitely.
And if you don't know what you're doing, I tell people all the time, like, sure, you can change your own oil. You can represent yourself when you get a traffic ticket as well. You're stupid if you do, and you're probably going to lose. So hiring somebody, it's a shame because credit repair is one of those industries where there were, or maybe still are, some unscrupulous people who collect money and don't do anything for it. But in reality, like, we know a bunch of borrowers that we've gotten done through your service. Hiring somebody that's an expert and them knowing just the right 3 words in the right order to say to get somebody to go, we got somebody on the phone who knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. And it's funny you said the 3 words or what have you. That's exactly right, because somebody's going to... I used to hate to see it. April would come. People, this is years ago when we were doing for another place. People would have gotten their tax refunds, and you know what they want to do? They want to do the right thing. Nobody wants to be a credit criminal.
Right.
You owe some money. You may have had a bad time. Something bad happened. You had to make a decision. I get it. That's fine. But ultimately, when you get a couple pennies in your pocket, you want to do the right thing. I'm going to call them up and pay them, and you'll get Mr. Collector on the phone. Okay. And you're going to pay that account just thinking, I did a great job and I did a great thing for yourself. And you're sitting there watching your credits report saying, all right, it's going to go up any day now. And you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and it doesn't go up. And you're wondering why. And eventually then you come to see me and I have to give you the bad news. Well, you didn't negotiate it out the right way. You paid the original creditor and they updated it rather than deleted it. There's certain ways that you have to talk to them because it's not, the bill collector's not going to give you the greatest deal. They're going to, it's commission basis guys. Yeah. They're going to do what's best for them, not necessarily for you. You have to have somebody to advocate on your behalf.
Yeah, and I've seen many, many, many occasions where the person just doesn't know, like deleted versus paid in full.
There you go.
You know, there's a ton of people who think I'm smart. My uncle told me you can make them an offer for 10 cents on the dollar. Yeah, you can. And guess what? Sometimes they might accept it, but they're going to report it to your credit that unless you know what you're doing, they're going to report it to credit as settled for less than full balance. And it's going to reactivate a negative trade line that was closed out. And with the settled for less than full balance, that's going to drop another. So you were a 620 credit score. You're thinking you're going to 680. Now you're 515 because you didn't know what the heck you were doing. And
With less money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a shame because, like I said, I used to be the bad guy. Don't hold this against me now. But that's what they're trained. You would ask, all right, if I give you this 10 grand, this is going to come off my credit report. This is going to delete it, right? I guarantee you 100% this is going to be upgraded on your credit report. You'll see. 30 days, this is going to be upgraded on your credit report. All right, well, that sounds great. You just got the death knell sent to you. Because upgraded is not what you want.
Correct.
All right, that just means, oh, it says zero balance. Great. Or settled as agreed. Awesome. But it still says collection charge off, which means he's still going to have a problem with it.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
you got to know all the wording, and you need a guide to walk you through the jungle sometimes.
For sure. And it's something that I always, it's a lot of times when I'm talking to people and I refer people to you guys all the time, I feel or sometimes people make me feel like I'm selling them something. I'm like, look, I don't care. You want to try and do it yourself? Do it yourself. It doesn't matter to me. Here's what I know. Most of the people that I've dealt with that swore they knew what they were doing and did it themselves were not successful. And most of the people that I referred over to my credit repair partners actually got a house and are actually living in their own place now instead of renting an apartment. Take it for whatever you want. I don't get any financial benefit from it other than when I close a loan, I get paid, you know, like, and people, there's so much, I don't want to say any names, but there's just so many people that are out there spend a lot of advertising money that might have, what's that, onomatopoeia? Is that the first letter and the second letter being the same one?
You're the smart guy.
It
Yes,
might,
that sounds
it might rhyme
good.
with
Yeah.
Smexington Claw.
Oh, boy,
but,
here we go.
You know, those companies do a lot of advertising, and maybe after 13, 14, 15 months of paying the bill, it eventually works. But, you know, they give, just like used car salesmen and just like some loan officers back in the day gave us a bad name. Like, they weren't really moral as we are. So it definitely comes into a little bit of, you know, pushback from people who, you know, their uncle, sister's cousin's brother does part-time credit repair, so they'll fix it, you know. So what's your favorite part of this industry? What's the thing where you're like, oh, cool, I like this?
You know what I like? It's kind of
Besides being partners with Jim Sakay. Besides that, was your...
That's a whole nother show. We'll have to come on another show and talk about that. You know what I like? It's kind of weird. I'm the only one that probably says they like this. I like the first call.
Okay.
I like the first call and the last call. All the stuff in the middle's work. But the first call is where you're finding out exactly where your client is. All right. I might spend a half hour. I've spent an hour with people on that first initial call because you got to find out where they are mentally first. All right. A lot of these places will say, all right, yep, come on in, fill out this application. Okay, great. We'll let you know when you're fine. That's not helping you. That's how you get reoffenders. All right. We'll sit there. We'll have a conversation. I'm a funny guy, guys. We'll have some jokes. I'll find out exactly what your hopes are, what your time frame is. Set the parameters, and then let's break down your credit report. And let's teach you something. I used to coach, so I like to talk.
Right.
Try and tell people what to do. So we'll break it down so that when you're done with that first call, I guarantee I've taught you something you didn't know.
Yeah.
That I like. I like that feel. So, oh, okay, that's great. Once you go through that, then and I'm also doing the second thing because, like you said, you're taking away some of that stigma, the negative stigma that credit repair has. All right, because you watched somebody do something crazy on YouTube, or you found 5 TikTok videos that said write the same letter that worked in 1998 but doesn't work anymore. You know, I give them all the information that they need, so you know exactly what is what. Now you know what the truth is. Now you can make your own decisions. I'm going to guide you here. I'm going to do all this. Sometimes I got to tell them something that's not sexy. You know what happens? You want a good credit report, you know what you got to do sometimes? You might have to pay some people. I'm terrified. But if you do, guess what? Your score goes to where you need it. This man can go to work and get you a house for a decent rate.
It sounds really, really cool when you watch a YouTube video and they're like, every 4 days send this letter and they have to react in a certain amount of time. But listen, even though some of that might be true and even though some of the information that they're giving you is true, guess what? If they remove something like that from your credit, it doesn't mean you don't owe them the money anymore.
Right. Yeah,
it just means that it's not on your credit at that moment. It can come back on if you don't do it the right way. You're like, oh, I spent all this time doing this. 6 months later, boom, now it's back on your credit.
Always comes up at the worst possible time, too.
Yeah.
Always comes up at the worst possible time.
And
it's always best to do it the right way.
Yeah, if you fix it the right way in the beginning, it's way better. All right, so let's talk a little bit about outside of work, Drew. I know a lot of the answers to this. I want to ask you some questions.
Good.
What do you do for warming the heart, warming the spirit, having some fun, getting the lighter side of Drew?
What's that? Drew. When Drew's not fixing credit for his clients, Drew's found in his backyard tinkering on one of his many fake classic cars. No, I'm a car guy.
You are?
I'm a car guy and a sports guy. And a horrible gambler. Those are the three things. That's where all my time and money goes. No, I've got a big family. You know I've got a family. Not as big as yours.
Yes.
Yes. 4 kids, 2 daughters in college right now. One getting into college. The other is, how old is he? Oh, that makes me feel bad. 28. I'm a grandfather, so I got to play with these kids and all this. I try restoring vehicles. I am a huge Sixer fan, which I'm sure you'll see. If you go on our page, you'll see all the Sixer fans. Look, Iversons. No, big, huge Sixer fan. I don't know. I'm a simple guy, man.
Yeah?
Sports, cars, playing around some stuff.
A little bit of crypto? Used to be?
Used to be. I got rid of the crypto for tuition one year. And now I'm back into the small cap stuff. So I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm looking to see what's going on overseas. Like,
all the indexes.
This is moving here. I try to jump into some stuff, and it's a horrible, horrible thing. Doesn't work. But buy Alcoa. Buy Alcoa calls right now for about 6 months out. You're welcome.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I'm even putting it on things. So watch, when I watch this 6 months from now, I'm either going to make a lot of... It's either going to be a lot of money.
I did what Drew said. Look at me now.
Well, and if you lose money and your credit goes bad, you can come see me. I'll do it for free. So,
all right.
There you go.
Cool. So, all right, now your last personal question.
Yeah, come
on. We already know sports. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. If you, tomorrow morning, you wake up and this magic fairy comes and visits you and says that you can have any musician, any band, any person ever through the history of time come to your house and play 2 songs live for you, who would the musician / band be, and what would the 2 songs be?
Oh, that's easy. All right, Prince and Purple Rain. I used to like playing guitar, so I'm the guy that was sitting there trying to do the Purple Rain solo in the mirror when I was like 14. And his version of... what is it? Something Weeps. Come on.
My Guitar Gently Weeps?
That's it. His version of My Guitar Gently Weeps is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to dig him up and get him back to life and put him in my backyard, those are the 2 songs.
You know what's funny? I don't think that I appreciated the musician that Prince was until he played at the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. I remember, I don't know how old, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old when he was doing Little Red Corvette and with the movie with Apollonia. He was always just kind of like different, you know what I mean? Wore the sequin outfits, you know, and you know, he was on the Chappelle show as the skit things, you know? But like, he was like a manly man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he was very sporty. There was a bunch of stuff. But he always seemed the outward appearance of being more of a character than a musician, you know what I mean? And then I watched him play live a couple times, like the Super Bowl, and I saw some other stuff. I'm like, dude, he jams, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like this character of this person that he played in the Purple Rain movie,
I dig it. No, I dig it. Every instrument on one of his on the albums. Go to the older stuff. Yeah, you got after Sign of the Times. I kind of, but his earlier stuff, you know, every instrument this guy could play.
Yeah.
And it didn't just, I can play it. Mastered.
Yeah.
Prince is one of the most, and it's weird to say, most underrated guitarists.
Yeah.
They're out there, period. All right.
If you watch him play at that Super Bowl performance in the rain, going crazy, I was like,
behind the back, falling off the. Are you kidding me?
He jammed.
Do a little looking into
A little Prince research.
And he'll cross you over in a second. The guy was one of the greatest basketball, not greatest, but
Not greatest, but
let me stop. But he was a decent basketball player.
Amateur.
Good high school
hustler. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Awesome.
He definitely put me on my expo. So
nice, Drew. Thank you so much for coming in the neighborhood.
Thanks for finally having me, man.
All right, we'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.